Welcome back everyone to the second part of the Western Stylized Saloon. So this is where we left it off. So I think the next thing we'll do is we'll build some bigger posts now. So let's press Shift A, bring in a cube, let's make it a bit smaller. And this time it's going to be in here, going up here, and to the other side. So I want them relatively big, these, because they're quite chunky things. So I'm not going to rotate it at the moment, I'm just trying to scale it up to be the right size. So let's press Tab, Face Select, let's grab the top, and let's bring it up to here. And you can see now I've brought it up, it's way too big, so let's bring it down a little bit more. SZ, just make sure that it's on ground plane. And we want this to be about halfway up again. So if you see the halfway point here, that's where that wants to be. So something like there. What we're going to do is we're going to press E, S, just bring it out a little bit, E again, E once more, S, bring it in, and it should look a little bit like that. Okay, so we'll do two of these, and then we can use those on the way around, because we can rotate these around as well. So we'll press Shift D, and pull that to the side, and I'll grab both of them, pull them out, and then I'll just split them up just a little bit, just so I've got something to work with. Now I'll press Tab, Control R, and let's have a look, see if 6 should do it. Yeah, 6 should do it, I think. Tab, click on this one, Tab again, Control R, 6, left click, let's just move them up a little bit, just so we've got something different to work with on this one. And now we'll start with this one. So we'll put proportional editing on, and now we'll just start manipulating these just a little bit. And we'll pull this out a little bit to make it a little bit chunky at the bottom, and we'll also pull them out this way as well, and just in case we rotate them round, and then not forgetting the top part as well, because we don't want those looking the same. So let's make them a little bit different, something like that. Now let's come to the second one. Let's grab this here. And again, I always like to make them a little bit chunkier on the bottom by just pulling them out just very slightly like this. And you can see that this one and this one, they're a little bit similar. So I've just put it back, and I'm just going to pull it out further down the bottom. Oops. Like so. And then I'm going to mess around with the top of it, something like that. So Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry. Let's do the same on this. All transforms, right click, set origin to geometry. Now because we've not done any extruding or anything like that, we don't need to look at the face orientation. It will be absolutely fine. So let's now just go straight to smoothing. And if you come to the triangle, auto smooth. And let's do this one. Auto smooth, and you can see we do have a little bit of an issue here where it's slightly smoothed off, and the best way to cure that is if you come to face select, click on the top face, press Control and plus on the number pad just so you go down to the bottom, and then you're going to press right click and you're going to go down to shade flat, and that'll just flatten them out just a little bit. As you can see now from this one to this one, it's told basically Blender that this part of the mesh is absolutely flat and should not be shade smooth. So let's now do this on this one. Face select, top face, Control plus, right click and shade flat, and there we go. Okay, so now let's add in our materials. So plus, and these are going to be wooden posts, and the same for this one. So plus and wooden posts. So now let's add in our bevel modifier. So bevel. And you can see there that it's not actually doing anything, and sometimes it actually does that in Blender, but no worries. What we'll do instead is we'll just close that and we'll press Tab, and what we'll do is we'll grab the ones that we want to bevel. So we want to bevel these, and these, and I also want to bevel the top of here, and I don't think I need to really bevel anything else. So what I'll do is now press Control B, pull it out, and then what I'll do is I've got some options down here, and what we need to do is we can manipulate this just by pulling this left or right, as you can see. So we don't want it that much, so let's turn it down just a little bit. Now the only difference is with this is we have to have it fixed. We can't keep it as a modifier. But luckily for us, we haven't got many of these posts, so we can do that with just these ones. So what I'll do is, before I actually do anything, is I'll click on here, Control C, and then what happens when I press Tab, I can see what my bevel looks like, and you can see it's relatively the same as these bevels over here. So that I'm pretty happy with. So what I'll do now is I'll do the same on the other one. So I'm going to grab it, the same parts I did on that one. So just around here, around the top, and around this edge here. Control B, pull it out, come down here, left click, Control V, enter, and now it should be exactly the same. What I need to do is I just need to make sure I've beveled this one on here, look, so I don't really want to do that. So let's take that off. Now do the same, Control B, enter, Control V, enter, and there we go. Now they should be absolutely fine. Okay, so let's grab this one first. Let's pull it into place, and what we're going to do is going to rotate it by 45 degrees. So RZ 45, and there we go. It should fit in place very nicely. I think that I just need to pull it to the side a little bit more, just so it's poking out a little bit better. So what I'll do is I'll come up to here, put this on normal, and just pull it out, just so they're going actually into something. So I want to pull it out like this and kind of get it leveled up so it's nice. We might need to manipulate these a bit more as we go along. So let's grab this now, RZ minus 45, and let's put this one in place as well. And again, we don't need to worry too much about where we're placing them right now, because we're going to move them around as we work through the course. So now when we've got this one, let's press Shift D, grab it, bring it over to this side, RZ 90, let's just turn it round a bit, and you can see that it's halfway between, which should be fine. Now let's grab this one, and we're going to do the same thing. So Shift D, bring it over, RZ, and this time we'll do it 180, turn it the full way round, just so it looks very different from the other one. Okay, and there we go, that's those posts done. Now we need 3 new posts, and unfortunately again we can't use these. So let's bring in a cube again. So Shift A, bring in a cube, and I'm going to make it smaller. And I shouldn't have moved out there actually, because I'm trying to put it in here. So I'm going to put it along here, and I want it actually to be fitting in between those. I don't want it to go past these. So if I press SX now and bring it out, you can see this is actually going over there. It is going under there, but that's not quite right. So let's press S. Just make it a little bit smaller, SX, and let's have a look how that's going to fit. And you can see this this post here is a fair way out in comparison to the other one, but I do need to pull it out a bit, and this is, now you can see the difference. So first of all, let's make it a little bit thinner again, pull it back, and I want it sat just in front of there, so I'm going to pull it up. So I'm going to pull it up to where it's going to go, and I need to pull this one down a little bit, just so we've got a little bit of a gap in between there. Okay, so now we can see that's fitting much better than what it was before. And let's just give this a color. It's going to be the fence post again. So come down, wooden post, and now I can see better what it's actually going to look like. And it's important to get this right, because the rest of the structure is going to be kind of supported by these. So now let's do the other side. So Shift D, RZ 45, and let's put this one in place. And I think this one will fit very nicely as is. So let's get it into the right place. So we can see here that now we can see that they do need to be probably a little bit thinner. So I'm going to grab both of them, press the S button, come up to my links, individual origins, S, and I'm just going to make them a bit smaller, and let's see what this one looks like now. So SX, make sure you're on normal so you can pull it out in the right direction, and I think that is much better. So that is the right size. So let's make this one bigger as well. Yeah, and that's definitely fitting in now. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of tinkering around with it, And now let's grab this one, face select, pull it out with our proportional editing on. You can see it's sticking out there a little bit, but that's something we can push in when we've built it. Alright, so these look about the right size. So let's grab this one, go to global, and we're just going to pull it out a little bit, RZ minus 45, and we're just going to put it flat for now just so we can work with it. And then we're going to grab this one, and we're going to use this this one here twice. We're just going to put it over the other side. We've only got 3 of these to make, so right click, origin to geometry, let's do the same on there. That one's okay. Alright, so let's do this one first. Control R. We don't need to make the ends of them any fatter. They should be fine like that. Let's try 8. That looks about fine. Let's do this one. Tab, Control R. Let's try 6. That looks fine. So let's do this one first. So we'll grab this, and we're just going to mess around with it just to make it, again, a little bit uneven, like so. And then we'll just pull it out on these parts as well, like so. Alright, that's looking pretty uneven. Maybe a little bit too much, but it'll be okay. So let's bring this one up, out, this one up, like so. And let's pull this one out a little bit and down. Let's have a look at that. Alright, that looks quite nice as well. Okay, so let's press Ctrl A, all transforms, origin to geometry, and now we'll do the same with this. And now let's shade smooth, like we've done every other piece of wood. Right click, shade smooth, auto smooth. Okay, so now let's bring in our modifiers, bevel, and you see it works perfectly okay on this one. Let's put 2. I think that will be fine. And bring this one down to 0.2. And the thing is, on here we can actually get rid of these parts. We shouldn't need them. So delete faces, and we'll do the same for this one. Delete faces, and I got rid of everything under there. Did I get rid of those? Nope. So can we get rid of both of those? So delete faces, and we'll do the same thing on this one. Okay, tab. Let's put this one in place now. This one should be done, like so. Just make sure it's fitting in place nicely. And we can see we've got a fair big gap down there. We don't really want that. So wherever this one is level, this is where the others have to be. So now if we bring this first of all and get the height right, so let's press dot and just make sure that the height is about the same. You can see it's a bit high. Now it's okay. So let's press R, Z, 45, put this on normal, and now we can pull it into place. Not like that, like that. Okay, you can see it's gone a little bit too far back, so let's pull it forward a little bit. Make sure we've got plenty of room down the front, which we have. And now what we'll do is we'll press Shift D, R, Z, minus 90, and that'll be the right way now to go onto this part here, like so. Okay, make sure there's not a massive gap down there, and you can see it needs to come out because we're going to put a post up this point here, so that has to go under there. So that's how it all fits together. And yep, that's looking absolutely fine now. Okay, so now let's grab this wall here, Shift D, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn it round so it's facing down this way. So we have to press RZ 90, I think it is. Let's have a look. There's the backs of them. So let's put this on normal, and now we can put it in place and pull it out like so. And now you can see it's really starting to come together, and we're really starting to get the shape that we want. So let's now grab this one, Shift D, RZ minus 90. And let's pull this one into place. And it's just really important now just to get the right size in. So if I press Shift D again, and we should meet up here. So Shift D, and you can see that there's a little bit of leeway, but we are going to be covering that up. So you can see we've got space to pull this. And now let's do the same with this one. I don't really want to pull this one too much, so there we go, like so. And what we're going to do is actually we're going to bring this sun so we can see the back of it, so we ain't got to keep moving it. So we're going to press Shift D on the sun, put it on global, and let's just pull it out and then turn it around. So RZ minus 90, and there we go. And I think actually I want to point it again, so RZ minus 90, and there we go. I can see the back now as well, which is really handy, because if you don't, you'll probably miss something. So let's now grab this one, for instance. So R, Y, press Y again, and 180, and that will then flip it over, and now we can see if we've got any the same color. And we can see now that the wood is different, but unfortunately these and these obviously are the same color. So let's go into here with Vert Select, and we'll just work now quickly on changing these out. So we'll grab these two, and let's put them as 2, this one as 5, this one as 3, and let's have a look, this one as 1. Let's see if that looks different now. Oh, it looks different, but those three are the same, so let's make sure they're different. There we go. Alright, so now it looks different from that one, and now let's do these two. So let's grab this one and this one and assign them as 5. So we'll change this one now, this one and this one, and then let's change this one. Let's have a look at what they look like now. Yeah, and they're pretty different. I think that one's the same, so let's change this one. Now it's the same. We're not having much luck. There we go, that's different. Okay, right, everything's done on there. Now these bit here we don't actually want to do yet, because we want to finish the front first, just to make it a little bit easier for us. As we build up, then we can see how we're going to build the actual back. So let's now do a fun bit. We have to do the saloon doors. So let's press Shift A. What we're going to bring in is this time a cylinder. Now you'll notice that the cylinder is on 32 at the moment. This is how many vertices go around here. So let's change this down to something like 12. No way do we need 32. So X 90, spin it round. Let's pull it out, and let's see if we've got something to work with here. So you can see what we're going to work with if we press 1 on the number pad is this going around here. So we're probably going to use this vert and this vert. So if I first of all squish it up like this, press the tab button, face select, grab the front face, delete faces, then you know that you're grabbing the back face, delete faces, and you should end up with something like this. Now what you need to do is you need to just look at where they're pointing down. So I can say that this one here seems to be pointing down here, and I'm going to grab the opposite one. So delete faces, grab this face, press L to grab everything, delete faces. We're not going to need those actually anymore. So now what we need to do is we need to just pull these out. So let's come up to Vert Select. So let's now grab each side. Make sure your proportional editing is off, and make sure it's coming from medium point. E, enter, SX, pull them out like so. And now I will get it into roughly the right size. So I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to press S, and that is roughly where it's going to go. So you then can see whether you want this in this way, or you can make it a little bit thinner with SZ like so, and I think actually that looks quite nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down to roughly where I want it. I'm going to press E, Z, and if it doesn't come down, press Z again, and you'll notice now it's free form, and then press Z once more, and then it should come down. Now what you want to do on here is you can have your saloon doors with this on the bottom of it, or you can make this flat. I think I'm going to make mine flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down further than what I want it. I'm going to press L, which is going to grab everything. And while I'm in front mode, which is 1 on the number pad, so I'm facing directly onto it, I'm going to come up to mesh and go to bisect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this across. And now you'll see that there's actually a cut been made. Now if you come down to the bottom left hand side, you'll see where it says on one of these it'll just be a little bit out like this one. That's how you always know which one it is, and because we cut across it on the x-axis, I know it's the x-axis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here and I'm going to press 0, and that's actually going to level this up perfectly level. Now what I can do is I can bring this up or bring it down to where exactly I want it. So I think I want my saloon door to be something around here. And now what I can do is I can clear the inner, which just gets rid of all of those pieces of mesh that I don't want. And also now we've got a very, very flat piece of mesh. Now the last thing to do is, because we need to fill this bit anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to face select, Alt, Shift and click, just so it goes all the way around. Press the C button, and then you're just going to left click to drag across. Now to unselect, press the middle button, and to take it off, just click right click. I'm going to actually press delete now, delete faces, and I should be left with just this. Now another thing is, I don't actually want this side, so delete those faces and come to edge select and select this inner edge. Shift S, cursor to selector, that's going to place it right in the middle. Tab, right click, set origin to 3D cursor. And now what you want to do is you want to come over to your little spanner, add modifier, and you're going to go down to where it says mirror, and that's just going to mirror it over to that side. Now I can press tab, pull it out, and now we're going to have a nice gap. And the reason I'm doing that is because I just want to level this up. You can see it's a little bit too high maybe, and I want to do both sides at the same time rather than just messing around. So you can see now that I can bring this out, and I can just manipulate it a little bit. I can manipulate it even on the little verts like so. So I'm going to pull them down and just make it however I want it, rather than just having it however the cylinder made it. So just like this, and I think actually that's looking quite nice now. So now what I'll do is I'll come to face select and I'll grab all of these faces, and now I'm going to press E and I'm going to pull it back just to make it nice and chunky to what we want. Okay, so let's press 1, let's have another look at it. So it does need to be a little bit smaller, so I'm going to press tab, press the S button, and just bring them in a little bit, because we need some metal parts on here just to make it look right. So all that's left now is press tab, grab this face, press the I button, and that's going to bring it in, and then I'm going to press E, pull it back, something like that, and there we go. That's looking very nice so far. Okay, so let's now press tab. What we're going to do is we're going to apply our mirror modifier. We don't need that at the moment, and we'll fix these, and then we'll do the planks of wood on the inside. So let's press shade smooth. Let's do auto smooth, Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry. Just check quickly your face orientation just to make sure that's correct, which it is. And now let's add our bevel modifier on, so add and bevel, and you can see that's working perfectly well. Let's bring it down to 0.1, I think is going to do it on this one. And now we need a different actual material on these planks of wood. I think this material here should be the same as the post, but it's totally up to you. You could do it another color entirely. You could have it red or something like that, but I think I want this to blend in. So what I'll do is I'll come over to my material, plus, bring it down, wooden post, and there we go. So now let's press Shift A and we'll bring in a cube, make it smaller, and let's just get it to the right size. I want it to cover all of this, so let's come underneath it, make sure I'm face select. 1 again, let's bring it down, something like that, and then let's bring it out as well to something like that. Grab it all, I'm just going to center it up just a little bit like that, Okay, so I think I've got a plane there that I can work with. So I'll delete faces, and now if I bring this back, let's have a look. Yeah, and that should be something that I can work with. Maybe a little bit high on the top, so let's just bring it down just a little bit more, something like that. Alright, so let's press Ctrl R, and this is going to be how many planks of wood are between here. So I think 3 or 4 at the most, so let's try that. So Ctrl R, 3, and if we look, if we do have 3, it's going to basically bring it just below here, and probably that is where we want it. So let's do that. So Ctrl R, 3, left click, right click, and we're going to do basically what we've been doing all the way along. So L, right click, mark seam, Ctrl R, and we'll give it 2. So left click, right click, and then what we'll do is we'll grab the whole thing, and then what we'll do is we'll come to face select, grab each opposite face, Y, and now we split them up, A, pull it out, and we don't need these that thick because they're not actually going fully into the back of there, and then S and Z, and if they go like that, just make sure that you're on individual origins, so SZ, something like that. And what we need to do now is we just need to manipulate them like we've done with the others. So let's grab these, proportional editing. I might put it on random just to make them all go up and down at the same time. Okay, something like that. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's looking quite nice. Alright, so let's now split them up. So we'll come to every other one, Y, and there we go. And now all I need to do is, so I just need to delete these back ones now, so I can click L, delete faces. So these now should be split. If I grab it with vert select, you can see that if I grab it, splits up, so that's nice. Just make sure your proportional editing is off. And now we should be able to put these some separate colors. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to get these in place. So I'm going to pull them back, and you can see that obviously this one isn't fitting correctly. So we're going to cut that one out. But the first thing before we do that is, and you can see this is where they joined, look, right at the bottom. I think I want to pull that up so you've got the gap just there. So let's have a look, just there like that. And you can see if I press tab now, that looks about right. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the other side at the same time, because we do want them to look a little bit different. So what I'll do is I'll press Shift D, drag it over, and I'm just going to turn it round. So I'm going to press right click, set origin to geometry, RY 180. Let's just turn it round, and then they're going to look very different, as you can see. So let's sort these parts out first. So if we grab this one, let's have a look what we can actually do with this. So we're probably going to have to actually cut it across there, because we don't want these bottoms on there anyway. We want them getting rid of. So we will actually grab this one first, pull it up just a little bit, just so it's under there, and then we'll do the same thing with the other one. So tab, grab it, L, pull it up just so it's in there, like so. Have a look, make sure that you're happy with it, and I think I am. So they look quite nice. Okay, so now we just need to get rid of all of this. So I'll do this one first. So L1, and you can press Z to go into wireframe, and there you can see where you need to cut it. So you can see you can probably get away with cutting it straight along here, and it'll probably get rid of all of it, and then we'll just have to clean it up just a little bit. So let's make the first cut. So mesh, bisect, let's cut up here first where we don't need it. So up here, look. And the good thing is here we don't need to straighten this up. And then I'll grab it again, mesh, bisect, and now I'm going to cut it across here, and you can see that it's not poking through the top. You've not got any, it's hidden in here, so you can't see that either. So that is pretty much golden. So now let's grab the other one. So tab, grab this one. It's already selected for me, and now I'm going to come and mesh, bisect, and I'm going to cut it, let's have a look, straight down here like so, and then I'm going to grab it again. So L, mesh, bisect, and if I go up this way I'll probably cut the other way like so. So what I need to do is I just need to turn it around. Just need to make sure that it's not going there. Turn it around like so. Make sure that it's not sticking out. And there we go. So now let's press Z, solid, and let's have a look. So let's now check the mesh out. I don't like dirty meshes. So I'm just going to check now and make sure this mesh is fine. So it looks like, look, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 edges there. So it's still a polygon, which is good. Let's have a look at this size. And that's also good. All right, let's join these together. So Control J, Control A, all transforms. Right click, set origin to geometry. Right, let's bring in our materials. And because we had it on wireframe mode, we just need to put it back on Eevee. There we go. So let's bring in our materials. I'm going to press Alt H as well, and we'll bring in, we'll actually use probably 2 of these plank wood materials. So let's bring in the first one, and we'll go down and find our plank wood, which is here. So wood plank 1, and we'll just bring them all in. And you can see now, because we've actually built up a little bit of material bank, that we can just mix in and out. So let's grab the first one and we'll change that to 2, 4, and there we go. They're looking a little bit different. Let's grab that one, change that to 5, 3, and I think 1 it already is, so let's have a look. There we go. Alright, they're looking very different. So let's now, last thing, let's just do the bevel on these. So come in, bevel, like so, and we might be able to get away with this a lot higher actually. So let's have a look. I think, yeah, 0.002. Let's have a look at 0.3. Yeah, let's give it 0.003 and let's pull it back. Oops. Let's grab both of them actually, pull it back and see what they look like. Let's press tab, let's double tap A, and there we go. Very, very nice. All right. So lastly, what we need to do now is we just need to join these up to these. So Control J and pull them out a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to set the orientation of the corners, because it makes more sense, because we can then pull them out on this axis instead. So let's do split them up first. So we'll grab this one, L, going all the way down. We've got that one selected. Look, we don't want that, so Shift L to deselect it, P, selection, tab, click on this one first, tab again, and come to face select, grab this face, Shift S, cursor to selected, tab, right click, set origin to 3D cursor, just like that. Now let's do the second one, face select, Shift S, cursor to selected, tab, right click, and set origin to 3D cursor. Alright, so now we can grab both of these and we can pull them back, and for instance I can grab this one now, RZ, and I can just pull it out just a little bit like so, and it just adds a little bit to it when it's slightly uneven like that. Okay, so now let's do the hinges. We might need to make these a tiny bit smaller. As you can see, we've not got a lot of gap down there, but we'll have a look as we go along. So Shift A, cube, let's bring a cube in, make it smaller, and let's make some pretty basic hinges. So let's make them quite small, make it a bit longer, so SZ, and let's bring the tops of them up. So face select, bottom, top, E, enter, SZ, and if it isn't coming up, medium point, like so, and then S, bring them in, just some basic hinges like this. Alright, so you can notice a problem when I've got a problem moving around it, just press dot again and that'll make sure that you're centered around this actual point. Right, let's first of all, while we've got this, we'll just smooth it like so. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to grab the top and the bottom, Control plus, right click and shade flat. So we just want to make sure they're flat to start with. Then I'm going to come in, add my bevel like so, and you can see that we probably don't need a bevel going this much around, so I'll take that off, and what I'll do is I'll press tab and I'll just grab these edges going up like this, and I'll press Ctrl B and I'll just see what they look like that. And I think that's actually going to be enough, to be honest. I do feel though the tops of them probably need coming in a little bit more and bringing out. So SZ, I'm just going to make them a little bit more, yeah, like that, something like that. All right, last thing to do is we need to bring in a nice metal material. So we only use one type of metal, I think, so we'll click new. We'll call this metal. If we need another metal, we'll actually just change the name of this. So it's already on principled. Let's set it relatively dark. Okay, let's turn this roughness down a little bit. We'll just make sure actually that we've got screen space reflections on. And there you go. Now you can see that it's a lot more metallic looking. You can see it's a mirror in there, which we don't really want. That's a bit too much. But anyway, let's also put ambient occlusion on, because that makes a huge difference. And then we'll come back to our material and we'll just make sure that the metallic is some way up. We don't want it all the way, and we certainly don't want it that roughness that high. So let's turn it down a little bit, and I think that's going to be fine. And then of course the color is a bit too bright, so something like that. And then we can see now we've got some nice shine on it, and it's looking metal like. Okay, so let's press 1 again, and let's see if we can bring these in. And we do want them quite chunky, so you can see they're that chunky at the moment. I'm going to press dot again, zoom in, press the S button. I'm just going to make them a tiny bit smaller. I'm just going to measure it up first. Let's pull it back now into place. Now it's up to you if you want it on the front like that, or if you actually want it just tucked in there. I think I want mine on the front, possibly poking out a little bit. I think I'm going to pull these both back just a tiny bit, and then I'm going to pull this back, and it's going to sit on the front like so. And I'm going to press Alt D. Alt D basically duplicates something, but it's like the same as the one that you're duplicating. So unlike Shift D, if you duplicate something with Shift D, you can take the mesh, manipulate it in any way, change the material, it doesn't matter. Nothing will change with all of them. If you're Alt D though, so if I press Alt D and bring it down, press the tab button, and let's say I want this bit taller, all of them change, whichever have been duplicated with Alt D. So I don't actually want to change that, but I do want to use Alt D because we want to save some polygons. So that's a good tip for if you want to save polygons on any of your other builds. So let's join these together, and then let's press Alt D once more, one, and bring them over to the other side. And as you can see, this is not quite fitting, but that's fine because we can grab this one and we're just going to rotate it on the Y just a tiny bit, and then I'm just going to pull it out into place like so. Double tap the A, and there you can see that's looking very stylized. Okay, so the only thing left to do on this lesson is we're just going to make a couple more posts just to go either side of there, which we'll be able to use round here and probably up the top as well. So we'll just make 2 quick posts. We know what we're doing now by these. We've been making a lot of posts. They need to be a bit smaller than these posts. They can't be the same thickness. Not too small. They still need to be chunky to fit the scene, but just a little bit smaller than these. So if I bring this out, we can see this is the kind of size I'm going to go with. So let's bring it out, and then we'll go and press SZ, and I just want it to fit basically so it goes underneath here. And you can see with this one that I can get rid of the top and bottom polygon or face, so let's get rid of those now. So delete faces, Control R, 4, left click, right click, grab it all, Shift D, and bring it over. And let's press P, selection, and now they're both split. Let's do this one first. Tab, edge select, proportional editing, on smooth, and let's bring it out. Something like that. Maybe that is a bit wonky. Something like that. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's go to the next one. And the good thing now, like I said, you've got all the materials set up, you've got everything set up that you need, like so. So all I can do now is I can grab both of these, grab this one, Control L, and copy materials. And now you'll see we've got the post materials, which is what we wanted. So let's click on this one first, Shade Smooth. This one, Shade Smooth, Auto Smooth, Auto Smooth, Bevel, Add Modifier. Let's have a look. Bring it down to maybe 0.3 actually on this. Yeah, I think that looks nice. So let's do the same on this. There we go. Alright, so let's spin this one round. So RZ45. And let's get this one in place. So let's set this to normal. Make it much easier for us. And we're just going to put it in there. And just make sure that it's actually under there. And that looks fine. Double tap the A, just make sure you're happy with it. And that's looking nice. And then we'll do this one. Let me just check to make sure that we did all transforms on this one. Like so. Do the same on this one. Right click. There we go. So RZ minus 45. And now let's bring this one in place. And there we go. Alright, that looks pretty nice. Okay, so on the next one, what we'll do is we'll start working on our roof. Probably the hardest part. Hopefully we'll get the roof done on the next one, and maybe we'll start putting down our walkway on this part here. So I hope to see you on the next one, guys. Give me a like if you liked it. Thanks a lot. See you on the next one. Bye bye.